What is the most powerful weapon in Minecraft? It's a question all Minecraft players ask sometime in their life. And I saw a video from Skip the Tutorial, and I'll link this video in the description, of the most powerful weapons in Minecraft Java Edition. He didn't mention anything about Bedrock Edition, and I'm going to give you the answers to that in this video. I'm splitting this into 3 sections. So that's my test subject. We have the general section, and then we have the TNT section, and then we have, you can see a couple walls over there. These are secret things that you won't know about, and I'm not going to show you until the end of the video. The way we're going to test this is to see how long it takes to get a protection 4 player in full netherite armor. Generally, it's very hard to do, but we're not going to try and waste time with like punching and stone swords and whatever. We're just going to go max enchantments because that just makes life a lot simpler. Okay, so this is how quickly it's going to take to kill. I mean, as you can see, no knockback taken. Yeah, we don't do any damage whatsoever. Even critting, we only do half a heart of damage, and that's very quickly healable. You can easily just throw a splash potion of healing and get all of that back. Now we're going to try strength 2. This should improve our things quite a lot. So while critting and doing strength 2, we do only about a heart to half a heart of damage, which really isn't a lot, which makes the sword almost completely useless. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, now for probably one of the most well-known weapons in the game, the bow. It's reliable, you can enchant it with insane enchants to make it so you don't ever need arrows pretty much. And, I mean, it should do a lot of damage, right? Wrong. It's the same story for the bow as it is for the sword. It does half a heart of damage, which is very easily replaceable. So we're going to move on to the next one, which hopefully should do more. And while you can put things like flame and stuff, which can do occasionally more damage, it really doesn't do a lot. And also, if you hit a zombie with, if you turn a zombie on fire, if it hits you, then you're on fire, and that isn't all you want in a game. Now it's time for the trident. The trident is very good in terms of like reliability, and you can also use it to get around faster in water. But it's a similar story for the trident as it was for the sword and the bow. It really doesn't do much. It does a little bit more. It does about a heart to half a heart in terms of crits and just regular hits. But it's still easily healable. Also, using a trident with Riptide basically makes you invincible. It's practically impossible to be hit while Riptiding around the place unless you're using like Killer Aura. But anyway, this clearly doesn't work, so let's go to the next one. Okay, now this is one you've probably seen in the most recent Dream Manhunt as of the day this video is being recorded, and that is splash potions. And these are the first things that can actually do damage to another player, and like it's very consistent as well. You can see I really don't take much damage myself, but I've already killed it. I've only used 2 instant damage 2 potions. It really is that easy to kill people. They're very overpowered, and I'll get onto how you can abuse this in a bit. Now for arguably the most iconic way of killing people, which is TNT. I mean, everyone knows it, everyone loves it or hates it. And by itself, it really isn't great unless you're like on a server where it automatically ignites, because you have to get the person near enough to it. And even then, it basically doesn't do any damage whatsoever. You lose half a heart in Prop 4. Well, like, even though it's directly on it. So let's move on to something a bit more reliable. Okay, this is the TNT Cannon. While you can't always hit people with this, it is very effective at destroying things. And this is a very bad one. I do have a better design that I'm planning to make a video on, which is the main reason I haven't built it, because it's pretty big. But you press it, there's a bit of weirdness going on with like how TNT explodes and how it works and whatnot. But I mean, it works pretty well. And while like I said, it's not great for killing people, but it is good for destroying builds and that sort of thing. And there are versions where you can shoot way off into the distance over there. And there'll be a video on that probably in the next few weeks. Okay, now for the next one. Now, I mean, this type of PvP has become more popular over the past few months, with 2v2t blowing up in terms of the YouTube algorithm. But it is still fairly unknown, and I think it is worth saying it. You can also probably tell I'm actually putting on armor myself, because this will kill you if you don't have armor on. It just does. But this is End Crystal Combat, and while a lot of people know this is End Crystal Combat, while a lot of people know about this, the large majority of people actually don't, and it's very, very strong. But even like in terms of this, you still need a lot, and you really need you see players that are actually good at it, they all have hack clients, which means in vanilla it really isn't that effective. You can see with this, you really don't take any damage. But there's also something to note from this, and that is how crystal PvP. There's something to note from this, which is how crystal PvP works. You see, blast resistance for some reason or another does more damage to your lower hitbox, which is the main reason I'm standing in this sort of obsidian thing. So if you're looking at crystal PvPers, you'll see them. They're always in either an obsidian or bedrock or a blast resistant block, and that's literally because your lower hitbox, basically where your legs are, is more. It takes more damage to explosions, and crystals, TNT, that sort of thing, which means this will still kill me because I forgot to put armor on. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay, this is the last type of PvP that I've put on this list, and this is arguably the most unknown and the most broken in terms of how efficient and how crazy overpowered it is. That is, of course, crossbow and instant damage to arrows. Now I'll get onto these arrows in a minute, but I just want to show you how ridiculous this is. With one shot, it does the same as the instant damage to potions. You hit it again, and again, it's free shot. It's a free shot against prot 4 armor. And while armor does neglect it a little bit, it's so broken that there's really no way to defend against it. And this is something I'm going to get onto also in a second. Okay, so you're probably thinking, now that I've just said that shields don't work, that they probably have some sort of thing which makes it so take less damage or anything. No, it literally doesn't work. Shields are broken against crossbows. For some reason, the arrow will bounce off, but it will still do damage. Like, yeah, shields are broken in this version of Minecraft. For some reason, I don't know why. But as you can see, it's a clean sweep and stuff like that. You're probably wondering how to get these instant damage to arrows, and they're called tipped arrows for people that don't know anything about this sort of thing. And it's fairly simple, actually. All you have to do is go to the end, and all you have to do is put a lingering potion of whatever potion you want, preferably it's damage 2 in this case, and put it in the middle of a crafting table and surround it by arrows, and you get lingering potions by getting dragon's breath, and that's a whole thing. You can go and search that up yourself. I can't be bothered to tell you. But yeah, it's fairly simple. You just put a lingering potion, you put arrows around a lingering potion and a crafting table, and you get 8 of these. And remember, you only need 3 to kill a prot 4. So if you're on, like, say, a faction server or anything like that that is up to date in terms of its PvP, then you could probably get this, like, quite easily. And they are very broken in terms of how easy it is. And there's also another way to get these arrows, by the way, that I've just realized I've forgotten to mention. And that is, you can put it's a much more inefficient way of doing it. You can put a potion you can put a potion of instant damage too, not a splash potion, regular potion, like a drinkable one, in a cauldron, and then right click or tap or whatever it is, whatever device you're using, on the cauldron with an arrow, and it turns it. You get 1 per potion, which is very bad in a lot of ways. So I'd recommend just getting the Dragon's Breath. It's pretty simple, and it's far more efficient in terms of the amount of stuff you get. But that's about everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please subscribe. I mean, you better do it. You'd better do it.